Hi there, this is Kenny from LearnHowToProsper.com, and I want to pick up on a topic that I spoke about earlier, and that is how to be happy. Now, in the first part of this video series, I talked about the two types of happiness. Situational happiness, which is what I call temporary, and then enduring happiness, which is long-term. And long-term happiness really is dependent upon our ability to look outside ourselves. So that's what I talked about in part one. Here in part two, I want to talk about a foundational principle for being happy, and that is to decide. It's a choice. Decide to be happy, right? Many of us, if we aren't careful, by default, have developed the habit of thinking pessimistically. So it's important to train ourselves to think positive. So one way to do this is to always consider that everything that's happening to us is for a purpose, a reason, and for our benefit. So there's purpose. Even when difficult things happen, there's a valuable purpose for that thing. Now, we may not always understand that purpose in the moment, but we can trust, believe that things that happen to us are for a reason, a valuable reason. Now, another thing that we can do to think positive is to begin to create a habit. And I like to think of things like this: if it's difficult, this too shall pass. Oftentimes, I'll consider that all things are working together for my good. Right? So I think both of these, decide to be happy and then thinking positive, is absolutely critical, right, to beginning our journey here and really building out a habit that will assist us. Now, let me start back here. Now, some people, and I agree with this, you can begin to retrain your mind by using affirmations. Affirmations help us to control our emotions, because by default, if we aren't careful, we can attach certain emotions to certain events. As an example, a number of years ago, I bought some real estate in another state, and it was very difficult to be away from that real estate and accomplish anything. And in fact, in this particular case, people were breaking into the properties and stealing things. And so I had this constant fear associated with owning properties. Now, about 4 or 5 months ago, we purchased a four-plex here near our home. And now I realized that all these negative emotions that I used to have, or that developed from that earlier traumatic experience, I started to associate with real estate and owning any kind of real estate. I automatically assumed that all these terrible things were going to happen, that people were going to break in and steal things. And so I was in a constant state of low-grade anxiety. So what I had to start to do is to associate positive emotions with that event. So when I go down to the property, I would always, and I always do, listen to positive music. I listen to positive podcasts and information. And when I'm actually on site, I consciously am aware of my emotional state. So it might be that when you first wake up in the morning, just the act of getting out of bed and starting to face the day, you might be associating certain negative emotions with that. And so it's so important to start your day with a high awareness of how you're feeling, and then adapting your emotions based on your current state, wherever that might be. That's why it's so important to have some sort of a morning ritual. I like to, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is to take a few minutes to just meditate and ponder and read some positive material so that I can immediately impact my emotional state in a positive way. Another way to do this is through music and audiobooks. Music is particularly powerful in impacting the way that we feel. And so I like to find certain types of music, and this can vary from person to person, but when I listen to that music, I immediately feel more upbeat, more positive. The other thing about having a habitual routine of listening to positive music is that when you turn that music on, it immediately elicits a certain state of being. And that's an important preparation for doing any type of positive work or really impacting or affecting your mental state. The other thing I like to do is to listen to audiobooks of people that are particularly positive, uplifting, and for many people, and I found this to be true for me, I like to listen to Tony Robbins. He just has such a positive way of looking at things. I like Grant Cardone. And find your own. You might have others that you like to listen to that really are super positive, and these types of listening can really, really uplift and change your emotional state. Now, affirmations are certain positive thoughts that you can repeat in a sort of positive emotional state that you're in, right? So some things can be, for affirmations, something as simple as, I can do this. I think that's important. Belief, I can do this. Another is, all things are for my good. This too shall pass. Because sometimes you can be going through something particularly difficult, and it's good to remember that it's a temporary thing. It's not going to last forever. It may feel like it in the moment, but they don't. These things come and go. All right? Now, I would start with just a simple set and use those repetitively to really start to change your habitual patterns. Okay? So, these are the things that I would do today to start to impact your emotional state to be more happy. So in the review, the first thing to do is to decide that you're going to be happy. Decide that you're going to make the most of whatever situation you're in. And then attach positive emotions to events that perhaps in the past have created a negative effect in your life. Okay? And then use affirmations to help improve your emotional state. I can do this. All things are for my good. This shall pass. All right, hopefully this will help you. If you found this helpful in any way, go ahead and click on the thumbs up button on this video and go on over to my blog at learnhowtoprosper.com and sign up for my email list to get automatic notifications. With that, I hope you're making it a great day, and I will see you over at learnhowtoprosper.com. All the best.